It's an ad right now, but it says you're live. Yeah. Yeah, it's good. Yeah. Come
Take some time, learn downlight nair, and learn downlight recovery, and you should be good. And I'll just go straight into this. So, pretty fast start from you, and it kind of just starts off really fast, and
Yeah.
it's fine at first, and it goes super duper downhill when you use all your jumps in one spot, right? And then just fall into the person after you waste your dodge. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So if you're gonna, first of all, if you're in a position like this, you should just reset in general, unless you're like looking for an error or something. But he hasn't really attacked, so you can't get the nair. You're better. You're definitely way better off just moving to the other side of the map, saving your dodge for when he tries to catch your landing, and that would have been better. The worst part out of all of this is that you actually end up using your dodge right before moving into him. That's gonna leave you with no dodge, and your dodge is always gonna be your most important thing. So you always want to use it, really when you have to, and never before that. So using your dodge like that ends up with you taking like 3 hits back to back, and you can't dodge any of them, right? You probably had your dodge back at some point, but it's not that easy to just get your dodge. So just a situation like this, disengaging is very important. I feel like a lot of people don't understand when to just disengage and move away, and that would have been very good for you there. At least you picked up the weapon without getting it, but now you take a bunch of damage, and you're playing Lucien, so dealing damage back is going to be quite a process. So, a lot of whiffs, to say the least. Missing like this is just due to not spacing correctly most of the time, because you're just, this one is understandable. You're trying to follow up the dare, but you're actually too high to follow up the dare. That, I mean, yeah, that would, I mean, he's too low damage to follow up that dare, so it's never gonna work. I'm gonna tell you that straight up. You don't really need to go for that because it won't hit. But from the next point on, it's just a bunch of attacks coming out, miss space, you're daring the ground, and then the next one is another miss space there, and then down light is something close to you, followed up by an end light. It's a mix of attacking too fast and attacking the wrong spots. This was bad because you dodged it. You really should avoid dodging it, like basically every single time. There's like rarely ever a reason or a weapon to dodge into. There's like a couple situations where you want to, and even then, you could just dodge away and you'd still be safe. So. But yeah, you can see how a lot of this stuff is misspaced or just really just happening too fast.
Yeah.
That end save is a good option, but it's important when you're getting hit like this to slow down so you can actually space things correctly. And if you're playing slow enough and understanding things, you understand that a stair like this, which sends him up into the air still, isn't gonna be followed up by a downlight, right? Like it's just not gonna happen. So it's really a case of playing too fast and too loose with your options. So I would recommend something like this. If they're too high and you hit the Sair like this, nothing on the ground is going to work. Your best friend here is just going to Sair and then you chase dodge upwards, jump there, something like that. Just keep the pressure up in the air because on the ground you have nothing to work with because he's not going to be on the ground. See, these Sairs are still coming out, and that's really a problem because now you've thrown out like what 10 Sairs and you've hit 2 of them. They're really coming out at nothing, so it's just like wasted hit points at this point, right? You see, that's 2 Sairs missed. You missed now, and he was really behind you for that one. It's really aiming at you. That was all good though. So about here, that's a good punish, and then there's fine. Good nair, and down sig. Alright, that's very simple, small edges. This snow is so annoying, I don't know why this is on. But you get the job done. This is ranked, right? So turn gadgets off in ranked. That's pretty good for you.
No, this is experimental.
Okay, that's fine then. Okay, so that stock is gone, and that's fine. It was pretty, not lucky, but you got a good turn of events for you. I will say that in every other scenario, you were losing, and it's mainly due to how fast you're putting your attacks out, and they're not very smart attacks, if that makes sense. They're not really thought out. They're just like, he's somewhere close to me, I'm gonna hit him. Like this dare right here, like in specific, this dare right here is just really strange, right? Because he's at the snowman and you're where you are, a dare comes out. Of course you get punished for it. It should never came out. He's not close enough for that. Okay. Maybe if you want, this is the time you go for Sair. You see that he's pushed past you, you look for that Sair instead. Knowing what option you want to use and the spacing you want to use is one of the most important things in Brawlhalla, and then paired with one of the hardest things to do with guns. So it's why I usually don't recommend guns to people who are new, but you're not new, so it doesn't really matter. If you want to play guns, it's you have to learn them, obviously, so you keep playing them, but you have to learn how to pick and choose what moves are going to hit there and what the spacing for those moves are, because that is not the spacing for that, right? Anyway, like I said, you get a pretty good string of events here, and it takes your stock for you, and you're basically one hit. You're gonna get hit one more time and die, most likely.
Yeah.
And that's fine. Realistically, you should have lost that stock before he did with the lead he had, so. Okay, so good, and then you get a good read. That was all really nice. And the sidelight, you could have waited if you were keeping track of the dodge timer. You know he had his dodge back for that sidelight, but everything there was like really good. That's exactly what I'm talking about when I say you don't really worry about the combos on guitars because they're not hard to input. It's all about being able to do this. This right here is the most important thing you can do on guitars. You need to be able to track these, react to these, punish these, right? So as I said, right here, when this dare hits, you can stop because you know his dodge should be back by now, and you let that go. But you do it again, and it gets you almost a kill. You should have finished it, but you don't. It's fine. It was all really nice anyway. So you probably, I don't know how long you said you'd been playing Lucien for, like a year, right now?
Yeah.
Okay, so I can already tell you have been playing guitars because you're pretty good at them already, and it's just probably the guys that could use some work that just shouldn't have hit you, so I'm not gonna worry about it. Alright, punish. See, right there, you killed him, right? And that's where these combos I'm talking about you need to know them, because now you're going to drag this stock that is really over. You're going to drag it on for enough for you to die, right? And that's just never it. And it's not even like enough for you to die. I don't think the stream can see my pen, so I'm going to change scenes here. And I'm going to hope I don't have anything stupid on this scene. Okay. Face cam is gone, but that doesn't really matter. So like I said, let's look at this. So his stock realistically ended right here, right? And because it didn't end right there like it should have, it drags on to not only you dying, but this much longer. And honestly, that could be a very clear reason as to why you lost that game, right? Because that stock was not confirmed, and stuff like that is just terrible. It's just not the case or what you want. You're still dodging in. It's not. You're not getting punished for it, but it's still not very good. Misplace decisive. You see, it's not like it's going to take.
That was misinput. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, after you miss your kill, everything after that is super rushed. Like, let's look at how long this stock actually is. So, you hit him here, and you're fresh on white, and let's like actually look at how long this stock is. Okay. That was about 10 seconds, actually, because it started at 6:30 and it ended at 6:20. Right, that was a 10-second stock of you trying to force kills on him and like borderline running at him. That was not a terrible side sig if you were a bit better space for him. Right? And,
Yeah.
That's honestly just never that is going to go. It doesn't really make sense for you to play like that, especially when you have a really big lead. Like, I know I said you should have just killed him with the down line recovery, right? And yeah, you should have, but that doesn't mean you just try to run him down from that point on, because that's really just how you throw a game. You still, even though you didn't kill him there, you still have an entire stock over him. Your next move is going to kill him, so trying to force him to die like this is just getting punished back to back, right? No one should ever have a 10-second stock. Like, no matter how good someone is playing, for you to die in 10 seconds means you are making a bunch of mistakes as well. And yeah, so that's not dodge is fine, but this GC is just gonna kill you. The best option for you to have gone with after you wasted your dodge like that is to go up, because if you go down, you are 100% dead over like multiple situations. He can dare the wall, he can ground pound like he did. There's just nowhere for you to go when you go down, because then you have to jump straight up towards the wall. If you jump around and over him, you're a lot better.
Okay. That was a misinput too.
Yeah, I can see it. Okay, at that point, Sarah's just gonna kill him, so you can just keep pressing. That should have been a recovery on the ground, right here. So grounded recovery is a really good thing on guns, because you don't have to really space it. It just picks up. It just picks up where it is, right? So that's an option you should always keep in mind right here. You jump like you were supposed to. Right? Yeah, after that you jump like you were supposed to. So he's still in recovery frame, so you can easily just pick up a recovery right here, right? Going for Sarah means you have to space it. There's things that you just don't see, or options that you just don't realize you have. And I feel like the options you do go for are really messy. So like I said, your guitars are really good, but the options you look for in guns still feel like very fresh, very new. You're going for a lot of stuff that just isn't spaced correctly, right? And that's a misinput, so I'm not gonna worry about that too much. But stuff like this should never come up, right? You're too far from him. You have no jumps left, so you're not carrying any momentum. You're just gonna fall straight down, and then it continues on to a Sarah like this. Right? A Sarah like this is you're right on top of him. That's just not the spacing. It's not gonna work. And guns are definitely a harder weapon, especially because when people are lacking in guns, it is due to literally nothing other than spacing and option choice, because that is all that matters for that weapon. You don't really, you care about the combos, but they're not like scary. No combo in Brawlhalla is scary. So when you pair other weapons, again, really good guitar stuff, it's just always solid. Yeah, like you read him all the time like first, so.
I'm misinput here. I meant to do my down sig, and it didn't come out.
This is a bad habit you have of attacking when you have nothing left. Right here, you should just go to the wall, maybe because you can. You still have your dodge left, so just use it to dodge towards the wall. He's not going to do anything. You're dead regardless. If he wanted to kill you, he would just down sig the wall, which, I mean, at that point you have no options left, but he backed up, so you should have just gone to the wall. That's your best way to survive there. Like I said, your guitars are really good. So the hardest thing with guns, as I've already talked about, is just knowing where your move hits, right? And stuff like that is always just different in Brawlhalla, because in Brawlhalla, like, let's look at gauntlets here, right? And hammer. They hit in front of you. There's nothing to space. You know, there's stuff to space, but it's not hard. You're going to be on them, and you're going to hit them. That is it. That's just the weapon, right? So you don't need to worry about a gap or anything. You don't need to worry about where they are compared to you. It just doesn't matter, because they are on top of you, and you hit them while they're on top of you. Stop hits them right in front of you, and like hits them right in front of you, right? You're more worried about, like, when you get to higher ranks, then stop spacing matters more on these weapons. But honestly, just get close to them and throw out a move, and it hits them. That's the way you should really think about weapons like that. Guns are different because just like guns, I mean, just like every other weapon, combos, they're whatever. You do downlight and then you do Sare. But you are missing when it comes to stuff like this, because you do this, right? Or you go for a dare like this, and you just need to be able to land that, because that's a lot of value. And that, I mean, a lot of times, like those people, I have to tell them that, oh, this move is broken, right? Like, I coach gauntlet players, and they don't use downlight on gauntlets. Shocking, I know, it's crazy. Downlight on gauntlets is completely broken. So I've coached gauntlet players, and I've never seen them even do this, right? It doesn't really make sense to not do that when it covers in the ground and in the air at the same time, right? You see how moves like that are just super valuable. They're always going to be valuable, right? That makes complete sense. It doesn't make sense not to do a move that does that. It doesn't add up, right? If you're gonna get a 3-hit for something, you get your 3-hit. I just woke up, so I can't hit any combos, but that's fine. Guns, well, your guns at least, you're not even doing the wrong moves. You're going for dare, and you're going for Sare, and those are some of the best moves on the kit, right? I think dare is like literally the best move on the kit, and Sare is the best move, is another one of the best moves on the kit. The grounding moves are harder to use, and that's fine. The thing is, you're going for them, and they just aren't spaced correctly. You just can't hit them the way you're going for them, right? So let's look at what dare actually looks like. It looks like this. You jump dare on top of them. Falling into people in daring is one of the worst things on guns, realistically. Unless you know someone's going to try to jump into you, going down on them with dare like this is terrible. You should really, really never do it, right? It's not smart. So if you understand that, then I would recommend you stop going for it. And Sare. Sare is another thing, because it is just so hard to hit, realistically, right? It's not just like, oh, you suck, you can't hit this move. This move is hard to hit, because you probably play Brawlhalla at a closer range, and it's hard to space this move when you think about it. Same thing with Spirit Sare, really. It's hard to space this move out, but you can do it. If you need to practice doing it, then practice doing it. But to miss it as much as you're missing it, and as much as you're going for it, is just not smart, right? So it doesn't make sense. And that, for the most part, is that. Obviously, on the ground, I'm not seeing a lot of ground moves come out, right? Usually doing these. Obviously, when you can get them, I don't think it's smart to force grounded moves on guns, but when you can get grounded moves on guns, you do get grounded moves on guns, and that will also be your best. But stuff like that, going for Sare is really hard. It's not easy, obviously, but yeah. I already said like 10 times, your guitars are really good. You're beating them all over the place. I don't even understand. I honestly, the way I was watching it, I don't know if your ranked games look like that, but if you're reading people that hard, you'd honestly just win every single game and get the diamond instantly. I'm kind
I
of,
mean,
yeah, like, honestly,
that's
it's,
I pretty much only been playing guitars. Like that's why I kind of wanted to pick up guns because like if I'm a main Lucien, like I might as
mhm.
well like, know how to use it.
Yeah, okay, so we're probably going to be focusing primarily on guns here then because the stuff you were doing on guitars is exactly how you want to play them. Obviously, people start dodging differently and it gets harder when you get higher rank, but that doesn't change the how you play guitars. You're playing guitars fine, and when you get to a higher rank, people will dodge in a less predictable way and a way where you can't punish them as easily, but the same thing will be happening, okay? So we're gonna move into this game. You win this game, obviously. I think we're gonna be falling into the same cycle of things because for the most part, you weren't. For the most part, I can already tell where you were going wrong, right? I can already tell you what I saw you doing wrong too many times. There's too many instances where you're in the air with no options left and you still throw out your attack. That is a bad thing. In the air with no options left, you throw your weapon at them, or you reset because you're going to kill yourself if you try to attack with no options. You're just going to get punished. They're going to move out the way. That's a bad thing, obviously. That was like one of your main problems. The misspacing on guns and the misinputs, another main problem. You didn't misinput as much as I was worried about, but 3 misinputs is more than 0 misinputs, and more than 0 misinputs is bad. Okay, the nair was in the wrong inputs, but it worked because he dodged into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that dare that he did, that is a good dare because it is pretty hard to punish and it hits you on the ground and it covers the sidelight dead spot. Does that make sense? So he sidelights and it doesn't hit him, but you're gonna end up like right here. And so he jump dares, you get out fast enough, but the goal is for that to hit you right there, right? If you were still there, you were gonna hit by it. You get out fast enough, and that's fine. You don't even get to punish it though, which is another good thing. If you wanted to punish this, there's some like extreme shit you could do. Like up here, when you're up here, finally, you could do a GC downlight, but you're not thinking that far ahead. Okay, right there again. You can literally just walk up to this guy and sidelight him when the downlight is over. So jump daring is pointless. This dare is right there. But now you're too far ahead, right? You can see how he kind of slides past you. I don't think it was a bad thing or a thing you could have realized in the moment unless your reaction time is like day 1. You really wanted to turn around here and do the same thing. You would just dare but turn around, obviously. Yeah, you still go for the nair there. It's just damage. He still has dodge, and he still has dodge here too. So going for this hit before he has used everything is just dangerous. Nice. Okay. This move, you never move forward with. It sucks. Okay? I'm gonna tell you that right now. This move is worst sidelight in terms of aggression. So you try to, you dash into using this move because you want to play off your momentum, and that's fine, right? But it will never work like that because this move is active for too long. It's too close to your body compared to sidelight, which makes it more dangerous to use, and it's just harder to use, alright? It's also slower. So you, realistically, if you're going to dash into someone like this, you sidelight. And I'll show you what I mean by that later. Okay, so this highlight is fine. It hits. I'm gonna tell you straight up that this isn't gonna be followed up with a downlight. This is where you carry him off stage, obviously.
No.
Yeah.
I thought I was gonna fall off the stage and then do it down here.
Yeah.
But
you can also do in there and stuff like that. At least you know you're supposed to go off stage there, so it's fine. That side sig was stupid. Stare him there so he dies. Miss space. Interesting. So this stock is all really kind of messy because it's all just like small things, right? But one small thing leads to another, right? So it's kind of what I was talking about when I said misinputs aren't bad, but then you start getting into a realm where you've been where you've misinputted 3 times, and now you're losing the game because of it, right? Like if you misinput once, you misinput it. You're not bad because you misinput, but if you're misinputting constantly, that is where you're really playing like shit, right? Because you keep misinputting. When are you hitting them if you keep misinputting? So let's look at this. This side sig is like this, and honestly, before that. No, okay. So we'll move forward then. So the side sig was to catch your end right here, which is messy, but it's fine. You dare him here, and you dare backwards, and that's fine. That wasn't terrible. I think double dare is not really worth it because of the angle you have to play at. I think you're better off just saring when he dodges here. So like this, you hit this dare right here, right? You reset on the wall real quick, just touch the wall and then get back off, and you know exactly what angle he has to come at you with because he has scythe recovery, and you just attack that angle. Does that make sense? You just go for the Sair in that angle, you go for the Nair to knock out the recovery. Those are really your only options here, besides just going for a dare like this. And obviously this dare doesn't work because it happens too fast, right? That's why I don't recommend going for double dare unless you want to commit super hard into it, and even then I think that's kind of shitty. And the commitment would be to go past here, so when he dodges up, you dare diagonally down to cancel out the dodge, right? But that's like way too far off, right? That's pointless when you could literally just touch the wall again, hold it, when he dodges up, Sair, he dies. That's it. Alright, that makes sense? So, yeah, you just kind of pay attention and stuff like that. Right there, he just should be dead. You should just Sair him, he bounces off the wall, goes down, and it's just simple. The fact that you go for a dare, and the fact that the dare is in this space is even worse, because you end up alone. Misinput, misspace. It's like the 3rd time this stock now, right? Misspace dare. I don't think approaching with dare is good. I think it sucks because it's such a forced positioning, right? Like you're going to have to end up here, and you're always going to get punished for it. I recommend that you just, if you're going to approach with dare, it's from this height. You can't miss that way. You just can't miss it, and daring from here is just terrible. It's like daring. It's like the same thing. If you imagine daring right here, right where you're standing, and you're playing bow, right? How does that hit them? Right? It just doesn't make sense. So you're better off doing it like right above them.
Yeah. That was his poor reaction time.
Side leg is good. So okay, so here is a weird spot to be in, right? Because he spot dodged and you dashed in. Okay, now he's in the air with no dodge. Obviously this Sair is way too late to hit him, right? I'm gonna be honest with you on that. But here's what you need to know, okay? So he has no dodge, Sair won't hit, I'll tell you that. And you need to get your punish off before you're back in the spot where nothing's happening. Your best option here is to just start jumping and nairing him. Nair on guns is really strong, and it honestly is one of the best things you could use. So if you're just going to start jump nairing him, that's one of the best options you have. Other option is to just straight up recovery him, because he has nowhere out to go but vertically. He can't really move horizontally, and guns will still hit him if he does. So you're best looking to play vertically here. Going for that Sair is just like not gonna have anything happen. It's probably a misinput. That should be a down sig rather than an end sig if it's gonna be a sig. Another grounded recovery could have worked right here. Grounded recovery on both your weapons are a thing. So he endlights here. You're going to end up on top of him, like right here. You can just recover him. Okay, I see. Okay, so when you go for something like this and they haven't dodged, you should know that they're gonna dodge this. If you know they're gonna dodge this, you can extend a lot of your strings. When you have their dodge, you're pretty good on it. You hit them completely, and you keep going with it, right? When you don't have their dodge, you just miss, and that's fine. Missing is whatever, because he dodged, so he's not gonna punish you. But missing when going for a punish when you know they have dodge is not very smart. You should just wait to see where he dodges after that downlight and react to it. That's just way smarter. Downlight, nice. He has no dodge. So right here, if you can react fast enough, you hit this. You know you took his dodge. You just dare right here, right? You see it?
Yeah.
Dare on him. He has no dodge. You sidelight, downlight again. Reset. Nice. Sidelight was too far. Everything was pretty good there. Okay, you're probably gonna die here instantly. Yeah, you do it again here. You have nothing. You don't have a dodge. You don't have anything. Just hit the ground. If you you see how you dare like that, and if he didn't jump for no reason, he literally just kills you. Like he could just down sig you, side sig you, whatever he wanted. That was nice. So, start of the stock, guns, miss space, the Sarah. Okay.
Yeah.
You get punished for it. A bit too hard, you probably can dodge that. I'm gonna tell you straight up to just start sidelight Sarahing these. They're taking forever to dodge, which means Sarah would hit. So you do it there, and then you do it again here. Both times you could have Sarah. Sidelight Sarah is what Cody does like every time, unless he knows you dodge in, then he sidelight theirs. Sidelight Sarah is pretty hard to punish on most of the weapons, so even because the read you're going for doesn't matter anyway. Like you're not gonna get anything from dodging in ever really. You either go for sidelight Sarah, sidelight Nair, or you go for a dare because you think they're gonna dodge in on you. There's also things you can do with sidelight recovery because you know that they have no dodge, but all of this is some of them are really hard to input. Right there. You could have gone to GCN light. Yeah, he doesn't dodge out. GCN light is good for you. That was fine. And then you switch off to your guitars. And it's kinda messy. You still get most of the good stuff. So right there is fine. This is a side light. If you just run in and side light him here earlier, like you just dash into the end light. You need to be careful with your dashes. Dashes are pretty good, but if you watch top players, you're gonna realize that we don't dash that much, especially when someone's right in front of us. And if you are gonna dash like here, you need to cancel it immediately into the side light. That way you can actually hit it.
Okay.
Right there again, when he's approaching you like this, you need to cancel your dash immediately, because again you dash at him, but you're dashing straight into a move, right? So it's not gonna do anything. Everything else is pretty good. You go for the edge guard and it's somewhat messy at first, and then you catch him with the sensei. That's really good. and then you just kill him when he comes back, right? So this game, we looked at the last stock pretty thoroughly. This stock was it started off pretty even anyways, and you just got a good amount of things on him towards the end, right? Nothing too special. I already pointed out where you missed some dares and stuff like that, but he wastes dodge a lot also, so. A dare like that is kind of pointless, I will say. If he stares like this, you get sidelight for free, and sidelight's more damage. Yeah, like you did it there that time. So the first time he stares, you go for dare. Second time he does it, you sidelight, right? So you should always look for the sidelight, and you get the sidelight. So that's good. Okay, so let's look at guns again.
Lucien.
So, a bit earlier, whatever. A bit earlier, we looked at end light, and you did an end light, and I was like, okay, that move doesn't really make sense to approach with, right? Because this is end light approaching, and you see how I like barely got the second hit of it off. Like that's me like dashing to get it. I'm trying really hard to get that. This is side light, and it does it every single time, right? And sometimes I don't even have to dash. It's just better, right? If you're going to push forward, if you're going to play aggressively, you do it with side light. You don't do it with end light. It doesn't make sense, right?
Okay.
So, literally every time. This is a Sarah, and then when you hit sometimes like Sarah, you can go for side light, but a lot of the time you actually will go for end light after Sarah. End light is more of a I'm backing up move, right? If they're coming at you, you back up and you end light, or you back up and you down light, because these moves lock you into place. So, doing them to move in doesn't make sense. How are you going to dash and then stand still? It doesn't make sense, right? This move slides, so you keep going. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
It's different when you Sarah because you know where they're gonna end up, and then you do stuff like that, where you can get pretty cool inputs. And it's pretty simple. It's a down line, obviously. But okay, so now you understand that you need to go for side light more than end light and how powerful it is. And you were hitting a pretty good amount. When you hit side light, it's really important what you follow up with. So this is your side light, and that's the same. Okay, this is side light, that's the same. It's that simple. When they don't dodge, it hits. When they do dodge, it doesn't matter, right? And this is side light, and this is nair. That one's harder. That one's way harder to do. I don't even know if you can do it on controller. I'm pretty sure you can, but it's really hard. Especially if you don't play D-pad, but that's for you to learn because it's your decision to play controller, right?
Yeah.
But I do know that it is possible on controller. Okay, so it's harder from up close. That's it at max range, and downlight side light is the thing. It doesn't do combo in the air anymore, but it still works, obviously, so it's whatever. And yeah, so for the most part, it's really simple stuff to go for. And this is side light there, but side light there only ever hits them dodging back into you. So this is a dodge to the left. Oops, sorry, he's dodging to the right.
Like I can do all these moves. This is more so like find options for it. Like it's me seeing the opportunity to use it. Like I'm still trying to figure that out, basically.
Okay, here's the thing with Brawlhalla. Unless you genuinely like have someone down, like a read, straight up, it doesn't exist. Nothing you're doing matters because you don't know what anyone's gonna do. You don't know people like that, right? And unless you do, and some people do. That's why they're called reads, right? Because you know what he's gonna do. But if you're not reading someone, there are options that are clear cut and the safest option. If you dare like this and he dodges in, look at the reward you get, right? That's 3 hits right there, right? Right. That's 3 hits you just won because he dodged in. A lot of Brawlhalla is going to straight up be reacting to stuff. I think it's really hard to react to stuff on guns. I don't know if gun players agree with me, but I'm not reacting to stuff on guns, and I don't play guns that much. So I play them a lot, but I don't play them like learning shit like that. Like it more so on guns, you're worried about zoning and stuff like that rather than reacting. On guitars, you're worried about reacting, and you're doing a pretty good job of that already. But on guns, you're more worried about actually hitting your power and stuff like that, right? So it doesn't matter being able to do stuff like that. So the reason I'm telling you this is because you're not worried about reactions, and because your moves already do so much at a base level, right? I'm gonna turn on damage here to show you. That's 15, okay? That's 15 damage already, right? And if you get the stare off, or if you get the stare off, you're now looking at 30, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That means what you are looking for is raw hits, because you already do so much damage on a base hit that raw hits are your friend, right? On a weapon, like let's look at your downlight. Your downlight is 12-ish damage already, okay? So now you miss it with your Sarah, and you're doing 26 damage. Lucien has the lowest force in the game, so he's not the perfect example. I can put it onto 3 defense just to make it match, but it doesn't really matter. I think you get the point. Right. Alright, so that's 28 damage, and it got nerfed recently, which is why that's 28 now. It used to be 30. That's 28 as well. Like I said, sideline there is what, 31. So you can see how much damage you're doing at a base level. So you pair that base damage up with how hard it is for people to approach you, because you have moves like this and you have approaches like that. That is your game plan with guns. Your game plan is to pair your base damage, your high base damage, your high one hit with zoning. Your job is to make sure people can't actually get back to hit you. You're playing guns pretty aggressively. It doesn't matter because you're playing an experimental and in platinum games, so people aren't punishing you very hard for playing aggressively. In fact, it's better to play aggressively. Boomy plays guns super aggressively, and when he needs to chill out, he does, and that's perfectly fine. But I will say that, and I'll show you a tournament match with Lucien earlier. He played it at BCX, so that's pretty good. Pretty lucky for you that we can work with that also. But yeah. So being able to go over stuff like that is always going to be better for you. So now that we know that your goal is zoning and one hit wins, right? Doing this is very good. And the reason doing that is good is because what can you do when you do this? Does that make sense? What you were going for was a double dodge to the side. And what are you going to get? I'll even make him do the same dodge he did, right? So that's the sidelight. And now you've dodged all the way over here, but you see how I can't actually hit him now, right? Like, he's already back. And I'll set it to jump also, because humans jump, okay? So here's this. There's really nothing to do. He has to fall back down into me, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's really hard to get anything off that. I'll take the jump off, and even sideline there is nothing is hitting that, really, if we're being honest, right? And it's different if you know he's going to do it. If you know he's going to do it, if I know something's going to happen, then it's whatever. I do whatever I want. It hits because I know he's going to do it, right? This is me knowing he's going to do it. I run up there and I GC downlight in the air because I know he's going to spot dodge. That's fine. That guy spot dodged like 3 times, so you should have known he was going to spot dodge, but that doesn't matter. That's not the point. The point is, what is the best option, right, that you are going to get off this sidelight that is the least risky, okay? And because, like I said, guns aren't really a read-focused weapon unless you're doing stuff like this because you know that they're going to spot dodge, the answer is Sarah. Because Sarah is going to net you 31 damage. It's not too risky, especially if they dodge away, which a lot of people do dodge away, the better you get. And if they don't dodge, the Sarah's going to hit. Sidelight Sarah is your best friend, and will work most of the time, especially since you do catch a dodge a lot of the time. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
This is very safe, and I would recommend you don't push in with it. This is, I don't know if you can tell the difference, but this is pushing in with it. If you push in with it, you end up going a bit too close to them. If they spot dodge, they can punish you. If you don't push in with it, you pull back with it. If you do it in the spot, then you're pretty much way safer, right? You see the difference? When I keep it in the spot, I don't move in. When I push in, I push in. It's more dangerous, but it's not really worth it at all. And more things with sidelight. Sidelight's your best friend on guns. This is one of those moments where I say that there are moves that people just don't use. You do use sidelight, and that's good. More things with sidelight. You get to do stuff like that. Stuff like that is cool, right? You get to do sidelight recovery, and it kills them. 4 frames, especially if they don't have anything to work with. That's it, alright? So, being able to do stuff like this is just always important. And you can see how consistent it is. You sideline and then you dash jump recovery, and you're getting this at 3 frames, right? Imagine someone has to dodge and you do that shit, they just die. It's amazing. And yeah, I don't know if there's anything you want to know on Katars because you are playing them pretty solidly, at least for the point you're at. I already looked at some sidelight stuff for you. Sorry, I left that game just to go back in it, but it's whatever. Katars, like I said, it's pretty straightforward. On what your goal is, I will point out that for some reason, this move leads into this move almost every single time, and that's always going to be your friend. You're pretty good with the Lucien sticks. You know to turn around and do insta. You know to when you're looking for these, and you know when you're looking for these, even though you're spacing them kind of bad sometimes. But the point is, you're going for it. I think your Katars are very solid. I think if there was a way for you to play only Katars and only ever pick up Katars, you would easily get diamond, from what I'm seeing, at least in your experimental games. Even the games where you are like losing and the Katars aren't like looking like, oh, I'm just like 0 to nothing. And like that last game against the Knicks, you were playing Katars, and it still looked like you were playing pretty well. If you played only Katars, you could probably get to diamond pretty solidly. I would not be worried about that. And even if you couldn't, you would be. You're playing experimental, right? So I can't tell you what elo the range of that match is. It's probably close because you're platinum and you're having somewhat even / close games with these people. But I will tell you that if you played ranked and you only played Katars, you would 100% get a higher rank than you are now. And that I can guarantee you that because you are hitting people, and this sounds so straightforward and so stupid, but that is quite literally all it is. You are hitting people more than they are hitting you. And what is the goal of Brawlhalla, right? You are supposed to hit them more than they hit you, and then you're supposed to kill them. And you are doing that consistently with Katars. You're hitting them more than they're hitting you. You're taking risks and commitments off stage, which is always an amazing thing, right? And you're putting your SIGs into your gameplay. Perfect. Those 4 things are literally how you tell if someone is a good player or not. If they are willing to go off stage when they have it, they are good. If they can use their signatures on their kit mixed in with their light attacks, they are good at the game. Those are 2 things right there. Not being afraid, they are good. You consistently approach, you are good. You need to stop doing dare, not above, too far above them because you're going to miss, right? If you do it like right on them, like I'm doing right here, dash jump dare. I don't think dare is worth approaching with ever. It's really a bad move. The higher rank you get, the more you'll realize that this move is not used to approach. It's only used to follow up the downlight and to get the read off the downlight. Then they are good, right? You remove this from your approach list. And Katars are hard to approach with, I'm not gonna lie. When I play Katars, I literally only approach with this, and I only approach with this, right? I was playing Katars like a couple days in a row because I played Queen Eye and Asuri and shit. So here's what I'm gonna do. Before we look at your last game, I feel like the replays I'm doing for you are going kind of fast, so I'm like looking at mine and I'm gonna look at a bunch of other stuff, which is honestly only a bonus. That doesn't hurt you at all. So we're still gonna go over all 3 of your replays, and it's gonna be great.
Yeah.
I'm gonna see if I can do this. Okay, so I have all my replays here, and we're gonna look at this game real fast. Okay, so this is gonna be pretty quick. I'm not gonna stay here for too long, but sorry, this guy was trying really hard, and I was annoyed. So it's right here. This is the stock. So I'm sorry that I had to embarrass him like this, but it happens. I'm just different. I get rid of it, and you're not really gonna see me approach with dare very much. And you can see like right here, I'm kind of floating around, but I'm never going to dare. Right? I don't plan to. Even when I jump, I don't dare. I come back to the ground. I sit like this, and I kill him. Just straight. Right?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna dare though. There's really no reason to. Especially, obviously, bow is like even worse because. The angle to dare is the angle for bow and light, but daring is super dangerous, and it's like the highest recovery frame move you have. I'm not going to go for it. It's not worth it. It really just is not worth it. a lot of the time I will kind of, like you see, I'm just trying to hit the ground. I'm not going to dare. I'll approach with down light, but I'm not going to dare. I'll side light, and I'll look for punishes like this, but I'm not going to dare, ever. I'll approach with side light, all I want. I'll wake up with side light. I'll keep doing side light. I'll get rid of the guitars, but I won't dare, okay? That move isn't used to approach, it's used to follow up. If you use it to approach, you're going to get punished. I have more games where I play this terrible character that I'm not going to even say the name of because she sucks so bad. But it's the same scenario. You pick up guitars, you dare not to approach because they're right next to you, right? We're right next to each other, I go there, but you should never dare to approach. You keep your pressure up. Misinput because the pressure sucks. Again, this is where you use dare. This is the only time you will use dare. Like this, right? You see this dare, but it's because he's right next to me, right? There's nothing else to do here besides nair, and nair isn't really valuable. You read the dodge, and you keep going, and you kill him. It's that simple, okay?
Yeah.
What else? Yeah, for the most part, you just sideline is your like most used approach tool. You already go off stage, which is good. If you go off stage, I'm gonna be honestly, unless you're dumb, right? If you go off stage, and there are people I coach who are dumb, so they go off stage and they die, and they are quite literally going off stage to die. You are not dumb. You go off stage and I actually see something happening. You go off stage and you're pretty solid. You know what you're looking for, and when you don't have it, you go back on stage, right? That is excellent. That's what you're looking for when you surf like that, right? So if you go off stage, you are really good at the game. And that's as simple-minded as that sounds. Someone who goes off stage is better than someone who doesn't. Going off stage is so good, okay? I don't want to spend too much time looking at my games because I'm just built different, so they can't all play Queen Eye like I do. I'm just super strange on the Queen Eye. I think I have one more gimp right here, off of this move. Okay, so this is twos, but it's the same principle. You only dare to follow up. I quite literally walk at this guy on the ground, and I downlight to catch it because daring sucks. Sidelight would have worked here too, hard, but you can see how far I carry him just off of the dodge. And I can quite literally seeing if you can do those things, you being a solid player because you have everything else in your kit. I will say that we need to, let me see, okay. Control Y. Which match didn't we do? We did Brawlhalla and we did the other one, right? So we have this one left. Okay, so there are times when you're playing guitars where you're mispositioned and you don't know what to do. I'm gonna look at that right now, right? There was a point I noticed in this game. So about like here, I think. You should go on stage, obviously. Right here, you're at an angle, and believe it or not, you're winning. This is a winning angle for you. I don't know if you can see it, but I can explain to you why you are winning right here, right? You panic nair and you start moving backwards, but you were in a really good spot here, okay? So let's look at why you're in a really good spot here. So dare doesn't really matter. He has no jumps left, and he used his dodge about here to go up, and now he has no jumps. You are in a perfect angle for a free recovery, and that's one of the things you can do. You can jump towards him and nair. That's another thing you can do. Just know that he can't do anything because you have priority over him and you have a jump bonus. He has no jumps and he has no dodge left, okay? You have priority. You realistically can do everything you want if you can get the angle for it. You can jump twice in Sarah if you're fast enough. You can jump nair. You can jump recovery. But the most important thing is that he has to land, okay? So let's watch what happens here. You jump. This automatically disqualifies you from punishing him, by the way. You can't punish him now. I'm just going to point that out. You've given up punishing him, okay? This is you in your box, and it doesn't matter, okay? So yeah. Let's pretend in a world that you're built different as well, and you don't jump. This yellow circle is you now, okay? You didn't jump. You stay on the ground. Let's watch him. You see how he has to land here? He has to. He has to. He has no jumps to move to the other side. He has no dodge to move to the other side. He has to land right here, okay? You can down sig. He'll end up off stage. You can sidelight dare. He still has no dodge. The dare hits him, and then you can continue. There's a lot of options you have for yourself right here, okay? That carries him. And that is so important that you remember stuff like that on every weapon, on every single weapon, on bow, on hammer, on sword. You need to catch a landing, and it is always going to be insane if you can. You don't need to jump here. You stay on the ground. He hits the ground here. You run up to him. You sidelight. You down sig. You do whatever you want, and that is why it's so powerful, because you can do whatever you want. Okay, so situations like this, you don't need to be scared. They have nothing, and you have everything. Think about it like that. They have nothing, and you have quite literally everything, okay? So you play with it. You don't need to jump near nothing, right? You see how bad that looks. And then you kind of have to give up stage because you were in recovery frames. But yeah, all right. We have one replay left, and then after the replay, we'll look at someone who is good playing Lucien. Not that you're not good, but there are definitely people that are better. Oh, this guy's playing Lucien. Okay, so I'm not built like you, so you do. Nice. So I'm gonna show you the left to right in a second. I'm gonna tell you right here, right now, that 9 times out of 10, you should keep a good track of habits. Okay. This is the end of the map. About 70% of the time, I'll say 70%, raw guess, okay? When people are at their limit like this, and most people do not want to go off stage. I will go off stage because I know nothing will happen. You usually won't kill me, or I will usually be okay. But a lot of people don't want to risk it, and it doesn't matter. So they will dodge back to the stage, right? So you hit him with your downlight, and you know he has dodge, okay? And you actually go for the read onto the left. And I'm just going to show you right now because I can. You go for your read onto the left, right? I'm going to do the exact same thing you did.
Lucien.
It doesn't matter what map it's on. I'm going to start to dodge to the right. But first I'm going to move it all the way over here. And I'm going to set the damage to white. But you can do it at almost every health. And I'll show you what I mean by every health in a second. And yeah, so let's leave him here. Put this on. He's gonna dodge to the right. He'll come back on me. Oops, too far. Okay. Oops. Okay, so right, that's it. I set that up so long, but that's literally it. You get that? You know he's gonna come back to the map. Boom. It's that simple. Okay. And that's what you did wasn't wrong. That's why I said you read in the right direction. And that's how I know you're not bad at this game, because you still read in the right direction all the time, right? You went for that though, because he's in the air, so obviously that's not gonna hit him though, right? That makes sense. So you need to also pay attention to things like that. What is actually possible for my opponent? What can they actually do? And you see how much I just got. That guy ended up in orange from that, right? So when you have stuff like that, and the reason I said it works at all HPs is because now let's look at how we can kill him with it, okay? So he's at 160 now. I know he's going to dodge to the right. Boom. All right. Same thing with your SIGs, obviously. Your SIGs are safer. They allow less room for misinput, but they're also more dangerous because you're in recovery for a lot longer if he doesn't know that way, right? But, and you can see how that one just dropped. That's why I'm saying it's less dangerous to do a SIG, and you can see it's dropping a lot, right? That's because downlight just doesn't work sometimes. But I got it. So, SIGs work. Downlight recovery works if I stop dropping it for no reason. But yeah, that's just the obvious read left to right. Going for this is never going to work if they're in the air. Right? Same thing with Enlight. It's just, that's the beauty of Katars, where Enlight does the same thing Downlight does, so the punish is the same. And you can see how it works with Enlight too, and then I get the Downlight at 2 frames. Really sick stuff. So left to right is pretty simple and pretty cool. Keep that in mind when you play that weapon. But yeah, let's get back to here, where you carry him across the stage. So the stair is solid, the nair is good punish. He wakes up, which is kind of unlucky for you because you were trying to push in more. I'm assuming you were going to do a downlight there. No, this was a sidelight. The sidelight is bad. I can see it's a sidelight because it plays the sound and the animation starts, but it should have been a downlight. It wouldn't have worked anyway because he woke up. Maybe if you wanted to keep carrying him in the air, this is really hard and asking for a lot, but you should hit this nair, you jump up twice, and then you can dare him at that angle. That'd be really good for you. And yeah, that's that. Okay. So you sidelight, downlight, you should know. You know he's gonna go this way, but sidelight's not gonna work. I'll let you know right now. Solid. Time you go for it. The changes up the dodge, which is fine. You punch him again. Kind of messy. So you go for this. You get it the first time, second time, and then you dodge to the right the third time. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You should have never eaten the first one, to be honest with you. The second one, this one is a punish. Okay, fine. Don't eat this one. This one is never connected to you. You should be out of there. And then the third one, your dodge is fine, and it's kind of messy. Good, but you need to be able to tell how far a dodge is going to take someone, okay? So let's look at this in this specific interaction, alright? So you come up here like this and you hit him with the snare. That's perfectly fine. If you wait for a second, you know that he's going. You're moving too far away from him, by the way. You can't get him from here at all, unless you thought he was gonna dodge this way. But that's where I always mention that you should be reacting instead of thinking. You're thinking too hard about a person you don't know, so you should be trying to react to the dodge rather than read it. If you react to this dodge, you would have stayed around here, and staying around here is optimal because if he dodges, if you stay here, right, and he dodges here or here, you're equal distance from both of them. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
If you dodge here, I mean, if you dash all the way here, he dodges here, you can't punish him. He dodges here, you still can, but now you've reduced your punish to 1 window instead of 2. Does that make sense? So you stay close as possible to both options since you don't know what he's going to do. And that way, if he dodges something like this, you can actually just rush him down immediately. Instead, you're too far away and then you actually get punished for it. That is when you can dare. I consider dare because dare does more damage, but dare also sucks, so I'm surprised you didn't do it. Okay. Right here, I think is a good spot to, after this sidelight, sig, mainly because we already talked about how people like to dodge back to the stage. You're not going to get anything out of downlight because he's in red. This is where you start factoring in the risk reward of doing a move, right? And what I mean by that is, so downlight is not risky at all. And if you hit it, it does 12 damage, right? But you can't do anything else after that unless you want to like hard read a dodge down and ground pound him, right? There's nothing else to do. He's just going to get away. If you just end sig, if he dodges anywhere towards the stage, he dies, okay? He can go off the stage, but and he can try to punish you. It's worth it. It's really worth it to go for the end sig. It just limits his options super hard, and it's just a smart punish because as we already talked about, right? When people get here, they want to end up where? Back on the stage, right? So you can assume he's going to try to dodge back to the stage. That's why it's worth it. And he does dodge back to the stage after you get it with the downlight. So you can assume that wasn't going to hit him. That's unlucky because you're playing Lucien, so it's not going to kill him. But recovery probably would have. So this is one of those times if you factor in the stage and the stats of the characters, I recommend you turn the downlight and you do the second downlight into the recovery. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Side stage might have also worked because he dodged diagonally, but I don't think I did it again. So a lot less guns in this game, which is that should have been an end line. Just because, like I talked about before, if you're backtracking and they're coming at you like this, you just stop and you do an end light because that is the move to catch people with when they're moving at you. Downlight's also fine, but for downlight you have to space it even further. And you would just make space anyway, you went way too far. More Sarahs, that is space, right? And now over 3 replays we're seeing that is a consistency, right? Your Sarahs are almost always misspaced. So if you were to like take something from this and you're like, okay, what do I need to fix? You would go, okay, my dares and Sarahs on guns, they suck. I'm missing them way too much, right? So you were alive for just to not make you feel bad, but prove the point, right? You killed him here, and you were alive till here, and you only hit him here, and that's a pretty big time span where he just did not get hit. And it's not like you weren't throwing out attacks, you just missed them, right? And it's easy for someone to just go, oh well, stop missing, right? But it's not that straightforward. It's not that simple. It's not, you can't just stop missing. It's layers over it, right? It's hard to hit the moves. But you can see the point of it is not to tell you to just stop missing. It's to help you understand where your losses are coming from and where your missing damage is coming from. This entire stock, advantage, you had weapon, you missed a Sarah, right? You dare nothing, you Sarah nothing, downlight nothing, miss a Sarah, miss a Sarah, miss a Sarah, you get that. And then you dare the ground and die. Right? You hit him with one combo in that entire interaction of whiffs. Maybe slow down, pull back, and actually realize the area where your weapons hit, and that would be very good for you. You just have to like keep in your mind that, okay, I'm playing guns now. This is the distance I have to be to hit what I'm trying to hit. Okay, so you guys are kind of trading back and forth here. For the most part, you're winning out on them. So I'm gonna start it from about right here. This is where you start losing. So you go for this one, and solid read again. Down sig is your best option right here. I think you see it too, and you're pretty well aware of that. If you're not going to down sig, you can push off and go for a ground pound. I think you wanted to go off stage here. If I look at what you did, yeah, you dared the map. So you did kind of want to go off stage there, I'm assuming, which is good.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So this all happens from your worst moments to me are where you lose your footing. When you get hit once, it usually leads to you getting hit like 2 or 3 more times, I've noticed. And you can see it in that game with the Knicks where he hit you with a side light, it led to another side light, and then it led to a side sig, right? In the middle of that game, I don't know if you remember. But that's like your worst habit, right? So let's look at where you get hit and how you could have instantly stopped getting hit, where you could have just prevented all this from happening, right? So right here, that's something you usually eat. You could have dodged the nair and you could have also dodged the downlight. You didn't, but that's fine. A lot of people don't actually, so that's fine. Right here, he dares the map and you kind of look at him and it makes you too late for your punish. As soon as this dare comes out, and I've already told you that this move sucks, and you see he just misses because the move sucks, you should sidelight immediately. You waiting, you turn around here, this frame, nothing is happening. It gives him time to do his end light. The end lights takes priority over you. You have to punish him immediately, especially when they're gonna whiff like that. But you're like taking another second to think, to get your hands back on the controller, to understand where you are on the map, You need to be able to do that faster. And let's look at the next thing. You get hit again by the downlight. You could have dodged it once again. You didn't. Okay. You dodge down, and then you start moving towards him with no dodge and no momentum. You can't do that. When you dodge, it should always be away. And if you do dodge in a bad way, you should be resetting. You shouldn't try to walk at them, because what is the most powerful tool in Brawlhalla? It's your dodge. I have a video on YouTube. It's the dodge guide. I don't know if you've seen it. You can see it. I will send it to you. It explains where you should be dodging, why you would dodge anywhere else, and how important your dodge is. Okay? Finally, you get your footing back, and then when you have that footing, like always, you do amazing stuff with it, right? So, right here, you've lost a bit, you finally get your footing back after that one, right? That one you punished immediately, you didn't wait, right? That's how you do it. You try to read him, and you are still punishing, right? You're finally back on your feet, and you carry it so far, and that's the best of it. The worst of it is when you're trying to find your footing, and the best of it is when you have it. When you have it, you've consistently been reading people all over the place. Sarah, nice. So, good punish. Good punish. Silent again, same punish. He's gonna keep going for these airs. You should have known he was gonna go for another one after the fourth one. And, fine. Good job. Okay, perfect. Alright, see? You almost looked like me there. Almost. So, this stock was fine. Mainly because he wasn't doing anything. It was like him saying, here, you can have the game, right? I will tell you what you could have done if he decided he was going to play better. Right here, he dodged up. He has no recovery. I think you punish anyway because he goes like this. Oh, okay, no, right here. Okay, see? Why are you... Let's look at this guy as we talked about last game, right? He has no dodge. He has no jumps. And you are here. Why are you here, right? You have dash, and you have all your jumps and all your dodges. Dash forward and catch this landing. That is it. Because that is a free side light down light waiting to happen. Okay? Either way, he just walks up to you and stares at the ground. Okay? And then he does it again, and you punch it again. And then he does it again, and you punish it again. And wow, that happened 3 times. And then the worst part is he went for it again, and you didn't punish it that time, but whatever. He wastes his dodge, and then kind of messes up with that side leg, and you do a pretty good job of killing him after that. But yeah, so that's all 3 games, right? And now comes the part that you probably want to write down to remember, or just keep in the back of your mind that these are what we want to fix, okay? This is the important parts. This is what matters, okay? You need to work on these things. So let's talk about these things. So you are missing out on what? Spacing on guns?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you already know that. I've already pointed that out. Your options on guns could be better. Like when I said the side lights, they're fine, but you can push further with the side lights and turn them into side light stairs, side light dare reads, stuff like that. Hitting them and then dashing doesn't do anything. I mean, dodging doesn't do anything. I don't know why people do that unless they have like a super hard read on someone moving away from them, because most of the time, if you chase dodge twice like that, or once even, you're going to end up too far to actually punish them unless they had only dodged once in the direction you're going. So it's a super hard read. Okay, that's 3. Okay, so 4 now. Your state in which you have lost, your losing position is bad. And what I mean by that is, let's look at it here again, as I pointed out. It was right here, I think. Yeah, right here. So you are now in a losing position, and you walk right into him, get hit. and you're still in a losing position, and you walk right into it, get hit, don't react to anything, get hit again. That's 3 hits you eat in a row because you just weren't on your feet. The thing is, if you compare that to when you are on your feet, it's insane, right? You're so much better when you have momentum to play with, but that doesn't mean you're allowed to be bad when you don't. Okay? So I'm gonna put that there, and I'm gonna point out that when you have gotten hit, you need to get better at resetting. Resetting is good for you, and that's just that. Alright, let's see what I wanted to look at. We're not going to look at too many games because I don't like watching myself lose, but I definitely do lose. Alright, so here's this game.
He had the best year.
I will mute that game because I hate.
Oh, you're breaking up. No.
Alright, let's look at this. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, watch this. Alright, so here's Boomy playing Lucien. This guy's okay at the game. He's not too much. I wouldn't take him home to mom or anything, but he's fine. Alright. And we're mainly going to be looking for guns here because everything else his guitars are different and yours are different, so it's fine. You can see the GC downlight into Nair, and I punish him back for it because he wasted his dodge. And the reason this is going to be different, like I said, is because he's playing well, but I'm also playing well. So now you're looking at two people who are the best at the game play against each other, rather than looking at yourself play against someone who is also not the best at the game, right? So we're going to be doing a lot more stuff, a lot of things that aren't clear, like I said, dare, like this, right? And realistically, this dare was not the best, because if I took a second to wait right here, he would have dared into the ground and I could have punished it. The second dare is the option that you go for there, as I've already stated, right?
Yeah.
Dares like that are always going to, like, and you can see what I mean by it's the option. He didn't hit it, but I wasn't going to hit him for it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
He didn't hit me, but I wasn't going to punish him for it. And you can see the side lights. No one really approaches with dare because it's not a good move. More guns. Yeah, he approaches with side light nair. Very interesting signature. Alright, so continue on. I lose to guitars pretty hard here, mainly because I can't really land, and it just does that much damage. The thing is, when you get to this point, you don't really play guitars to get reads. You play guitars because you want to have really strong approaches, and then you get the 2 hits, right? So what you're going to see a lot of Boomy do is he's just going to walk up, side light, end light, and then he's going to try to read if it's an obvious dodge, and if I get away, I just got away. He's not going to do anything after that, right? And for the most part, that's just how guitars look when people play them like this. Sarah misses, and you can see kind of how the same problems are here, but you also see where the fixes are, right? Like that side light Sarah he did, that's a good thing, because like I said, I can't punish the Sarah in most of the dodges. If I spot dodged it like perfectly, I could do a GC, but it's really hard. I think he played Lucien this tournament more to play guitars all day, but it was pretty good. Yeah. Top players play really slow. It's really fun to watch. I actually don't think we hit each other in like 30 seconds there. I almost fell asleep watching it. That was a good stare. That's the thing with guns. Because their grounded moves are actually kind of bad, you see a lot of people, they just like look for the stairs, right? Like if you watch Cody as well, they're mainly looking for stairs. The thing is, if you don't jump, then you're kind of automatically winning versus guns, and that's what I tried to do here super hard. I just stayed on the ground the entire time. And you can see that because I'm not jumping, it's really hard for him to get anything. This move is broken. And I died in like light orange because of it. And that's what I'm saying when I go, like, I literally changed my shade of red to die to that, right? Because it does so much damage and then also carries you to the top. So it's really, really important that you learn how to do that. It's like very important that you learn how to do that. But yeah, for the most part, I win this game, I think, but it's fine. He played a lot of guitars. I think he plays guitars for this entire set. If I went to find you someone that plays guns, I'd just look at Cody, but Cody didn't play BCX. He played a bit before BCX, and he also plays Brawlhalla. But like I said, I think you're most interested in cleaning up your guns. If you can clean up your guns, then you're honestly in a really good spot to kind of just do whatever you want, right? Because your guitars, like I said, already look good. You said you don't play ranked. I don't know if you don't play ranked because you don't want to play ranked, or if you just aren't playing it right now.
No, I do play ranked like every now and then. Just not often. Like you said, like I kind of want to clean up my guns before I go back into rank.
Okay.
But, like,
it's gonna be hard to tell because I mean, obviously, your guns are bad enough to the point where you can tell if they're getting better because you'll actually start landing your moves instead of missing them. But it's hard to tell usually, and the reason it's hard to tell is because if you are playing experimental, there's no number there that says whether you are good or bad. There's just how many experimental games you won that day. And I will tell you from my point of view that I don't lose experimental games. Van, you've typed that twice now, and I didn't respond the first time. I'm not going to respond this time. But you can't keep track of how well you're doing besides your raw wins, and as in a number. But then the matches aren't getting harder as you win. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's why ranked is such a good thing to gauge how good you are. I will tell you that when I started playing this game, there was no other queue. But I did play only ranked. And when the other queues did come out, I still only played ranked. And to this day, I only play experimental because they invented the battle pass and I like my free skins. But otherwise, I only play ranked. I recommend that even if you think your guns are bad, you play ranked. When I think a couple days ago, Mob asked me how to get better at the game, and I said, he loses in experimental. You're not like him. You're much better than that. You don't lose your experimental games. But I told him, find a main and only play ranked, because there is quite literally no reason to not only play ranked, no matter how bad you are. And the reason the reason I will say no matter how bad you are, you should only play ranked is because it is quite literally for free tracking how good you are. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It is, and you already told me yourself that you don't care if you win or lose, and you don't care about your rank, which is the perfect way to be. I don't care about my rank. I've never cared about my rank, right? But I will only play ranked because if someone says how good you are at Brawlhalla, I won't tell them how good I am in ranked because I am past that, and I have a world championship trophy in my bedroom. But if I didn't, I would tell them that I am this rank. And that's why when people are shit talking each other in Brawlhalla, they go, "You are this rank. I am this rank," right? If you are someone else, you go, I don't play ranked, I only play experimental, so you can't tell me how good I am. But that's not really an scapegoat, because then they go, you only play experimental. You should just, if you do not care about your rank, just play rank. There's no reason to not, unless you need a warm-up or you have a bad mental or something like that, but you don't have any of that. Maybe you need a warm-up, that's up to you, it doesn't really matter. But after your warm-up, you should play ranked. And yeah, that's just my point of view on it. You don't have to play ranked, but I'm telling you that ranked is literally, will quite literally track how good your Lucien is. Even your Lucien has his own personal elo, right? So if you're, and if you're losing in ranked, here's what you do. You throw away the guns and you only play guitars, but that's not really a good way to test how good Lucien is. That's a way to see how far you can go only playing guitars. And I'm telling you that if Costlix can get this far only playing Lance, then I see no reason why you can't only play guitars for the rest of your life. But yeah. As I've stated, I think I gave you a list of things to work on, right? The important things, if you can say those back to me.
Wait, what'd you say?
I said I gave you the list of things that are like the most important things you're going to work on, right?
Yeah.
And what are those?
To work on my spacing.
Okay.
To also work on my options.
Yeah.
And then to know when to like disengage.
Okay. And
I forgot after that.
okay, so the disengage will be really good for you. That way you can, when you're losing, you stop losing and you like just back off so you can get your footing back. That's always a good thing at every elo. I feel like people keep going in even though they're losing at every position. So that will help you a lot. And your advantage state is really good. Like I already stated, when you're winning, you keep winning, and that's always going to be a good thing. And the opposite is true for when you're losing, but disengaging will help with that. So yeah, those are the 3 things I think you should work on right now. Like I said, from every single replay you sent, your guitars were really good. From every single replay you sent, your guns were really bad. Even for having played them for a year, they were really bad. And I think that should be your main focus right now, is improving those. Oops, my phone case fell, but that's fine. If you have anything to ask me, you can ask it right now.
Yeah, I guess like one thing is like, I guess learning how to adapt to my opponent. Like, I know like you can't play the same to like against everybody. Because there are times where like I can beat a diamond, but also I'll still lose to like a gold or something like that.
Okay, so consistency is a thing that is usually based off of how you play and not how someone else is playing. And what I mean by that is people always play differently than each other, right? So diamonds play in a pretty straightforward manner, and that's how they got diamond, right? And they wouldn't lose to a gold, right? So why can you beat them but you don't, but you do lose to a gold? It's because you're not really paying attention to what the gold is doing and how easy it is to actually beat it. So when you're playing against a diamond and they're doing the basic good stuff, it's obvious to you. You understand what's going on. When you're playing against a gold and they're doing something dumb that you don't comprehend, that you don't really understand why they're doing it, right? It becomes a problem because you just really can't tell what they're doing. It's just a matter of understanding and patience. Because worse people are worse at the game, it gets harder to tell what they're doing. And that's why I have the point of view that it doesn't really matter what they're doing. And what I mean by that is people don't play the same, but I try to push into them either way. And what I mean by that is this strikeout game that I'm going to quickly cue will probably be against a gold player, right? And will that matter? No, because I will play as aggressively as I want. It's all about the confidence you have. You are too scared going into a gold player for some reason. It doesn't actually matter why the reason is, right? But if you understand that you are still the best, look at it like this. You should always be the best player on the screen, right? It doesn't matter what the other person is doing. You need to look at what they're doing and see where you can land your moves in. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So that will mean that works for literally every single round. If someone is bad, you still push into them and you land your moves, no matter what they're doing. If someone is good, you push into them and you land your moves. That is it, right? You need to be the best player on the screen at all times. That is your goal, okay? Like, this guy is playing way worse than a diamond player, but it doesn't matter because I'm still playing at the same level. And it's just stuff like that. Like, you shouldn't be reducing your level of play just because they're reducing theirs or because you don't know what's going on. Because 9 times out of 10, they don't know what's going on either. Okay? It's like, questions like that are kind of hard because it's like asking, yo, my opponent is doing something weird, what do I do? You do what you were going to do anyway. You just avoid what they're doing. That's all Brawlhalla is. Avoid hits, get land hits. If someone's doing something weird, you try your best to understand it, and you take a second to look at it. But definitely don't lose to gold players. That's definitely something that is different. Same thing when people ask, how do I beat someone who's spamming? Right? It's like, okay, they're spamming. You see that they're spamming. You jump over the move they're spamming. You hit them. It's that simple. Is there any other questions?
Nah, I think that's it.
Alright, that's all for the replays. As always, you have me in messages, so if you run into a situation you don't understand or you want to send me a screenshot or like, oh, hey, Remy, what do I do here? What is going on? I don't understand this. Or you just want to tell me how much better it's gotten. I definitely hope that you were able to pick some shit up or understand where I'm coming from with a lot of this stuff. I definitely hope you got your $30 worth out of it and stuff like that. So I was trying to make sure that the people who I coach actually managed to get something out of it. So that's always my goal. And all that stuff. Like I said, you can always message me if you need advice or help with something, or if you just want to let me know how much better you've gotten into the game. I will always be there to listen. But that is the end of that.
Alright, thank you.
No problem, man. Thank you for trying it out. Y'all idiots really thought I was gonna best of 5. Listen, I'll be live later, okay? I gotta go. Probably eat something, I'm starving. Yeah. I need to end that there.